Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Johnny Nelson MBE. Johnny, great to be.
You got Chris yesterday in Hyde Park, the other day in Hyde Park, on Wednesday, Hyde Park. Oh, good soundbite, man. You got him. I'm surprised Chris actually gave you as much as he actually did. I know Chris, he's very selective about when he talks, what he says, and so to get that line from Chris, you got an insight to what was going on in behind the scenes with the Eubank family chaos.
So you've gone straight into it, so let's talk about it. What was your initial reaction to seeing those statements from Chris?
You know what? It's not our business. There's an issue going on in the family. Chris is a father. He said that, as a father, he's got to reprimand his son. Boy, I didn't teach you that. And as a son, as in Junior's like, Dad, I'm making my own path. This is how I do it, and that's always going to be the case. And it's not until Chris is retired and Senior's retired and Junior's retired and he's achieved whatever he's had to achieve, then credit will be given. I know Senior, when he was doing whatever he did as a fighter, he got chastised. People called him everything from a pig to a dog, but he did it his own way. Still ended up being world champion. Still ended up being like one of the UK's biggest names when it comes to boxing. He did it his own way. So he did his own experience to get his own wisdom. That's what Junior's doing. And so as a father, the father saying, you know what, you can't do. I understand the love of a father. What are you doing, son? But only time will tell the story whether or not Chris's choices, Junior's choices, are the right choices.
A lot of it obviously stems from what happened with Michael Watson and the injury he suffered. And of course, Michael Watson was completing a miracle mile.
I understand that, but in boxing, I understand that. But remember, you've got to try and still move on as a fighter, and you've got to put that to one side. Yes, the fear will always be there. It will always be there, but if you think like that getting into a ring, you think with the what if this could happen, what if that could happen, you shouldn't be fighting. So I understand where Chris is coming from, but I also understand where Junior's coming from.
I want to just give some balance to the argument as well too, because I've seen a lot of mixed reaction to the conversation, and some people are kind of saying that from Junior's point of view, he should support, Senior should support Junior regardless. What do you think of that?
No, he shouldn't. He's a father. He's a father. This circus is his business. It's show business, and he's not comfortable with the business, so he looked like a hypocrite. So why would anybody listen to him in the future if he's gonna contradict himself? So the father's watching this, approve or not approve. He's gonna watch his son fight, no matter what he tells you and I. He'll be watching that fight from wherever he sat at home or whatever. He will watch his son's fight because that's his son. But the business side of it, he's not happy about it. So he's got to conduct himself the way he is. He's got to stick to his word.
Senior also, aside from the line at the end of the interview, he kind of said that he felt the fight was breaking the rules, shouldn't happen, and a lot of people in the sport should kind of look at themselves. And media also should say a lot more about that. How do you even took to berating Gareth A. Davis as well?
I'm a big fan of the British Boxing Board of Control, and they are forever evolving, forever checking out the safety of fighters and our fight game to evolve the sport itself. And so if that was the case, the British Boxing Board of Control would stand up and say, no, this shouldn't go on, this shouldn't happen. So that's a question you should ask Robert Smith. That's a question you should put towards the British Boxing Board of Control. And so if the Boxing Board of Control are comfortable with it, then they're comfortable with it. If there's lessons to be learned from this, then we'll find out after Sunday, after next week.
So a word on Michael Watson, of course, who completed that miracle mile, and he, in a brutal kind of way, has been used as this is what can happen to the sport. But just focus on his inspirational achievement, completing that at his age, and showing what you can be after an injury.
And if you speak to Michael Watson, he'd do it all over again. So a civilian, when I say if you've not boxed, you look at Michael Watson, oh my God, that's terrible. How can this guy talk about wanting to do it again if he had the chance? If you're a fighter, you're a different breed. It's a different mentality, it's a different outset. You can't think like a civilian. If you're a fighter, you'll always be a fighter. Michael Watson's still a fighter. You look at him. So I think his achievements, his fighting spirit, the attitude he had, that's the reason why he was such a good fighter, and that'll always be in him.
I want to ask you about Ben Whittaker versus Liam Cameron too. Have you asked Ben Whittaker in the gloves are off about the injury? What was the injury? You tried to nail him on it, and he trivialised it. He didn't give an answer. Was Were you expecting more from Ben Whittaker when you asked that question?
I gave Ben as much of an opportunity as possible to put meat on the bones because he's been treated as though he lost. He's been vilified. He's been persecuted left, right, and centre, and that must hurt. That must bother him. So then he's thinking, all right, then I'll treat you how you're treating me. I'm not giving you anything. That's what he's. And I'm cool with Ben, you know. But he's sending the message out to the public that give him a hard time because he's seeing how fickle the fans can be. But if you want to play the pantomime villain, if you want to play that role, you've got to expect the stick back. So that's why I asked him in various ways to say, look, this is your chance. If this is the impression you want to leave the public with, that's up to you. But I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you questions that I'd really, you know, only if I could ask, did you quit? You know, I've got to ask those questions because that's what the public want to know. So when Ben dealt with it, how he felt comfortable. Now, Sunday night after the fight, let's see if he talks a bit more after the fight. Let's see how the conversation goes after the fight. Because if the fight goes how he expects it to go, he said, look, I made a mistake. I remember boxing Michael Murray, the heavyweight, and it ended up from an 8 round, it was dropped down to a 6 rounder. And I went out there, he was a heavyweight, I'm trying to blast him out. This guy's punch is just whizzing past me. I went back to the corner, Brendan said, what are you doing, Johnny? This guy's going to knock you out, behave yourself. So I had somebody wise in my corner to steady me back, but I was making a mistake. It was something I had to learn mid-fight. Ben Whittaker had to learn something mid-fight, and hopefully he's learned from that. He's got a wise head in his corner with Andy Lee to say, yo, what are you doing? Ben himself said, I used to go in the gym and I'd say, all right, this is what I'm doing today. You can't do that at top level. You can do it at a certain level, but when you want to get to the top, you can't do that.
Is the link up with Andy Lee the right move, you feel? What would he bring to him?
I don't know. I'd have said something like Adam Booth, if I'm honest with you. But Adam Booth, but Andy Lee's an amazingly good trainer. He's a clever guy. He's a smart guy. He understands the game, and I respect him massively. So I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying I think Andy Lee's going to normalise him. You know, Ben's success has been through his unorthodox style. And his unorthodox style, as well as his boxing ability, is what's got him ahead. Now, if you're going to make him an orthodox fighter, you're going to give people that shouldn't have a chance. So I don't know how. I've never seen an unorthodox fighter Andy Lee work with an unorthodox fighter, so I don't know how good he is when it comes to that.
We didn't see the flashiness in the first fight. Do you want to see a return of it?
Yeah, man. I want the flash, but you need to be consistent. He can box and bash. He can be unorthodox, but that unorthodox style needs to be brought in because if you're getting in there to fight an unorthodox fighter, it's the worst thing you can do because you can't. There's not many unorthodox sparring partners you can get. Ben is so successful. I'm from a gym of unorthodox fighters. That's why gym was so successful. So I understand where he's coming from. But what he did was he made a mistake and he thought, right, I'm going to blast you out. I'm going to stand on my front foot and blast you out. And he made it harder for himself. He neglected what's got him there in the first place. So now he's got to be smart. Boom, boom, switch it. Southpaw, orthodox, left to right. Box on the front foot, on the right foot, defensively, offensively. He's got to bring all that in, but he's got to think quick, like unorthodox fighters do.
Liam Cameron is from your area. He will have sparred with people that have tried to mimic Naz's style, mimic that flashiness, mimic that ability to hit and not get hit.
What I love about Liam Cameron? He's a Yorkshire man through and through, and they're no nonsense. That foolishness don't work with him. He's not intimidated. He's not taking off his path of where he wants to go. He's not stupid at all. He knows what he wants to do, and that's what I'm saying. If Ben drops the ball, Liam Cameron will make him pay for it. If he drops the ball. And so he needs to make sure, Ben's nowhere near the finished article, but he needs to make sure he stays on the path to get to the finished article. Otherwise I'll get derailed.
Usyk versus Dubois 2 is close to being announced. What has Daniel Dubois done to maybe turn the loss into a victory?
Got more confident. Makes it more of a mental thing than a physical thing. But I'll say it again. Alexander Usyk has proved time and time again. If he boxes you once, he's going to beat. If he boxed you once, he's going to beat you better the second time. And I believe that'll be the case again. I believe he'll probably stop Daniel.
Anthony Joshua appears to be in a pre-camp. Tyson Fury appears to be in a pre-camp. Both of them are looking for opponents. Do you think we're getting the start of a camp heading towards a fight between the two of them?
You know what? These two need to be realistic. And, Anthony Joshua could the fight with Daniel Dubois and Usyk, they're talking about it being at Wembley. Do I expect it to be the same crowd that was there when Daniel Dubois boxed Anthony Joshua? No. The only people that could actually fill that place massively is Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. and now even still now. So I'll be very surprised if it's shock or block out, if that is the case, and it is at Wembley. Even though Usyk has done the impossible, and he's won over a lot of the UK fans, but in reality, and that's if you're a boxing fan, you get it, you like him, everything about him is spot on. But I think it's a tall order to expect it to sell the same way AJ and Dubois did in the same place. So Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury in a pre-camp, if that's what they're in, those two need to get ready for each other, because their stock will drop each time they lose. We can't say it won't happen because we've seen it happen. So it's about appetite, it's about opportunity, and these guys have the opportunity to fight each other. Stop messing about, get the job done. Or AJ getting there with Dubois again. That's big. Tyson Fury, I don't know what you're going to do. Chase AJ, I don't know.
Jake Paul is on the verge of announcing a fight with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Just the last one. What do you think of that?
Jake Paul.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Jake Paul, let's see when the bell goes. When Jake Paul is talking about getting in, let's see him get in the ring first, because he's talked about fighting Canelo, all these people. He's getting us to talk about him. It's foolishness.
Cheers, Tony. Much appreciated. Thank you.